What's going on, dudes and dudettes? So, yes, over the weekend, Duke basketball did have their Midnight Madness, where they pretty much have the whole squad or teams, scrimmage against each other, see how it goes. Kind of like a big thing for all the fans and students and stuff. I don't know if it really happens at midnight. It might. I think that was Friday. It was pretty cool seeing a lot of the new guys, especially the guy who caught a lot of attention was Tyrese Proctor, the guy who actually should be a senior in high school this year, but decided to reclassify and come in early. And he has a lot of talent. He just wasn't making a lot of those shots and completing it, but he has enough moves that's going to get some definite NBA attention, especially if he gets better throughout the year. So definitely looking forward to how his season goes. But over that weekend, they did have a couple recruits, especially a guy or two that were uncommitted to Duke, and it didn't take long after that because Saturday night, some point around there, Darren Harris, the 4-star small forward, it's around 6'6", something like that. He decided to commit to Duke, and he's actually the first commit in the class of 2024. So he's going to be a junior this year. So, Coach Shire is already getting the future nice and bright. We thought it was already going well with the 2023 class, and now he already has a talented player in 2024 who can most likely bump that 4-star rating up to a 5-star by that time as well. So definitely looking forward to that. Don't know if he's related to Devin Harris, who was a pretty good player for the Dallas Mavericks about a decade ago, but we'll see. They say he's a really good shooter, so that could be an indication that they might be related. So good luck to those guys. And then USC football did not play this weekend, but luckily with some other teams beating up each other in front of them in the rankings, they were able to move up 2 spots to number 10 again, so they are officially a top 10 team in the nation in the AP poll. So that's pretty good. I believe UCLA moved back behind them and another team, I forget. But overall, it's good. They get to play Arizona this weekend on the road, who is a kind of up-and-coming team, but they are still very young and make mistakes at times. It could be a high-scoring game, depending if USC's defense shows up, because they do have a bunch of injuries, but the offense should be able to outscore that team either way. And then they get like Colorado and Cal back at home, and after that they don't even leave Southern California, because then they get UCLA at the Rose Bowl, which is still pretty close in Pasadena, and then they have Notre Dame come in the final week to LA. So setting up good to maybe hopefully get a rematch. I know with UCLA losing to Oregon, it's pretty much Oregon and Utah right now leading, and Oregon does not have a loss in the Pac-12, so I believe Utah and Oregon do play within the next couple weeks, and kind of hoping that Oregon does beat Utah, because that means they would have 2 losses, and if USC wins out, especially beating UCLA in about 3 or 4 weeks or so, then it should be, at least record-wise, Oregon and USC in the Pac-12 championship game. Compared to if Utah beats them, then there's like 4 teams with 1 loss in the conference, and most likely USC beating UCLA later, but then there's still a loss behind, or at least the tiebreaker loss behind Utah. And then I don't know how they would get that tiebreaker thing against Oregon. So overall, could be very interesting last couple weeks for USC football. So hoping for the best. Definitely hoping at least the least thing is a Rose Bowl. So looking forward to that. Then when it comes to the Big Ten, where both USC and UCLA will be moving to in a couple years, apparently they have been discussing the idea of reconfiguring their division, so to actually throw away that model, because they do have like a division now kind of based on where the schools are located. So USC would probably be in a division with Michigan, Ohio State, and all that, Nebraska. But I think they want to kind of I think there was talk that they're going to maybe go after the model that USC and UCLA have been playing in the Pac-12, where it's basically, it comes down to your conference record and how you did there. This is going to basically decide who are the last 2 teams to play in the conference championship at the end of the season. So I prefer that as a better solution, because then you could have a nice arms race towards the end of the year, and the Big Ten might end up scheduling those bigger games at the end of the year anyway, so it could be some nice matchups going into like late October, November, early December as well. So definitely looking forward to that. Can't wait to get out of this Pac-12 conference. Then Duke's Jeremy Roach, who's pretty much their main captain and leader this year on the team, he was recently named as a finalist, or at least on the watch list, for a Bob Cousy Award, which goes out to the best overall point guard in the nation in college. So that's pretty cool. At least he's getting some recognition. He didn't get it in the All-America team, but overall, this is a good step towards that. At least they know that real recognize real, as they say, or real recognize talent. So overall, it's a good thing for him, and congrats to him. Sadly, yes, the Chargers did lose a game, which I believe they should have won pretty handily, but for some reason, even though they got Keenan Allen back, it seemed like other injuries ended up popping up during the game, and then Justin Herbert did not look overall great. He gave up there's a couple interceptions, maybe at least one interception, and then a fumble on a strip sack as well. So overall, it was a pretty bad performance, but they did have two big key injuries in their free agent signing cornerback J.C. Jackson, who has been struggling. He had that surgery, so he's only been playing in a couple games before this. So as of right now, it does look like a dislocated kneecap, which you never really hear that much about, but according to Brandon Staley, the head coach, it does look significant, which sucks. So you spend all this money on a guy, and he's most likely going to end up missing the whole rest of the year, and it's probably better for him anyways, because he was struggling a bit, and I think even in the last game against Denver, he was benched towards the end because, I don't know, maybe Telesco and Staley made a wrong choice in giving this guy all this money when they probably could have gone after someone else. And this guy is a really true man-to-man cover, and I know Staley kind of wants to run something else, so I don't know if it was the greatest fit overall, but yeah, as of right now, I'm kind of hoping he does stay out to preserve his future, at least for the Chargers as of now. And then wide receiver Mike Williams, so you get Keenan Allen, and then you had already lost Josh Palmer, their third string receiver before this game, and then now you lose your number 2, and Mike Williams, who apparently had a ankle injury, and it looked like that he wasn't able to put any weight on it as well, so that's definitely not a good sign if you can't even walk off with an ankle injury or sprain, something like that, if it were less serious. But looks like he might be missing some big time as well, and they don't really have that much great depth behind those guys. Even Palmer, who they kept saying was a great guy, has been injured, so it's not like you don't know if he's going to be available to step up in the next game, and I don't know if they're going to be aggressive and trying to make trades or anything like that, signing some really good free agents like an Odell Beckham Jr. maybe, who's still out there in free agency. But overall, it's the Chargers' luck. It was going great for the first week or so, and then the injury bug caught them as usual, and this is the Chargers' life right here. Chargers fans' life, so there you go. And then ex-Duke player Theo John, who's been trying to make the NBA. He was on Minnesota's team, their summer league, but got let go. And apparently he was recently drafted in the G League draft, like number 15 or 16th, to the Washington Wizards G League team. So at least it's another opportunity. So good luck to him. And, we'll see if he can make that squad, because they don't really look that great. So they could use another big guy on the team. Then USC basketball apparently is doing a couple of scrimmages before the season starts, and this last weekend it was the first one against Fresno State, and it was closed doors, even though after the game there was a bunch of stats and everything released, so I don't know how really closed doors it was, but apparently USC was struggling in the first half, only had a couple point lead at halftime, but then ended up pretty much taking a hold of that, having over a 10-point victory in that game against Fresno State, and I think they might end up scrimmaging against another team. Don't know who it's going to be, because this was kind of a surprise anyways. I didn't know they were going to be doing this, but overall, to get yourself ready for, the league coming up, the season coming up, it's all good as long as you stay healthy, in my opinion. So when it comes to ESPN's projections, actually, of this USC basketball team, apparently they're projected to ESPN to make NCAA tournament, even though most recently they haven't been ranked in the AP poll, which I thought they did because they have a lot of good older talent coming back, and for some reason they're being disrespected. But as of right now, ESPN projects them in, so hopefully that does stay true when March comes around. Then Lakers had a few moves or updates with a couple of their rookies, so they decided to move their drafted player Max Christie to their G League affiliate. It was kind of weird because the first 3 games I didn't really see him get out there, get any run, even though his position is a position of need that they've been trying to trade for or look at, and he wasn't getting a shot. So I guess that's why they ended up sending him out there, because he wasn't showing anything even in practice as well. So maybe we'll see him in a couple weeks, you never know, because of injury, or maybe he produces well in the G League as well. But then the other rookie they signed to a 2-way contract, Cole Swider, who's pretty much going to be their like 6'9" plus shooter on the wing. And he showed that he could play very well shooting the ball in Summer League, which I'm pretty sure is why he got that 2-way deal. But apparently he has some type of fracture in his foot, and he's going to be out at least 4 weeks. And then around that time they will reevaluate him to see how good he is and if he's able to actually ramp up any training or anything like that. So once again, a guy who they were counting on quite a bit to be a 3-point shooter to help out that percentage, and he gets hurt. And of course, I believe the Lakers are maybe the worst team shooting the 3-point in the first 3 games as of this second. For the first 3 games, they're 0-3, and I don't even think they've made 20 threes overall, but they've shot almost close to 100 attempts, or if not over. So it's pretty crazy, that stat. But they gotta do something. They gotta make a trade. I know they might be looking at maybe Rozier or something like that, a Josh Richardson type of 3-team package deal. But early in the season, when you try to include multiple teams in a trade, it might be too tough. So either way, their projection of waiting till after Thanksgiving, almost Christmas, might be what us Lakers fans have to stress through. So we'll see how that goes. And then I mentioned this in the last video, I believe it was, that there were talks and a lot of rumors going around that Henry Cavill will be returning as Superman, or as the Man of Steel, whatever you want to call him, in the DC universe. And I guess he made it official on his social media today, because I'm pretty sure there's a scene, I don't know if it's during the movie or an end credit scene, it's kind of like the worst kept secret in Hollywood, especially because Dwayne Johnson was so eager to get that news out because he knew his movie was going to struggle, even though I heard it's probably like his highest grossing opening weekend of all his movies. But still, I'm pretty sure because of the bad ratings and reviews, it wasn't going to make even as much. But because he kind of hinted at Superman could be in it, you know, I guess that's why it made a bit more money than it did. But yeah, apparently it's going to be him appearing in multiple movies in the future, and then even having his own standalone movie as well, that I believe we talked about the last time, that we hope for. So definitely looking forward to that official Man of Steel, you know, second movie instead of a Batman versus Superman, something BS like that. So definitely looking forward to that. And a couple more miscellaneous news to end off. Tom DeLonge, of course, it's not a surprise if you've heard him say this about usually a brand new CD. He kind of always believes it's the best work he's ever done. I think he even said this recently about the most recent Angels and Airwaves record, but he really pushed it hard when it was Angels and Airwaves' first record. He's done this a lot with Blink-182's, but of course, he is once again saying that this is the best music, best album he's ever done. Obviously, we have to wait and see. I wasn't the biggest fan of the first song that came out, the single, but I'm usually not. I don't like the bands that pick their own songs. It's usually not a favorite song I end up going back to. I like the other songs that come out later. So definitely looking forward to those, and we'll see if it ranks up there as one of their better albums. And of course, Ticketmaster is just being a bish because, you know, you try to get on there for some of their concerts and stuff, and prices are just way overvalued because there's some type of thing that kicks in when these are very high in demand tickets, and it ends up charging you more because they know more people want it. So I'm not really looking to spend more than $152 to $300 on a ticket just for one ticket to just go see Blink 182 next year. And I don't know, it doesn't seem worth it as of this second. And they even added another show to the LA, I think it was for the very next day next year, but it still is a very, very high, same price. And I'm pretty sure all these people that are buying these tickets are going to resell them for even more when it comes to coming close to the concert next year. So either way, probably not going to end up going to see them, but hopefully the music is good because I will be listening to that no matter what. So yes, thanks for watching, people. Like, subscribe, comment down below. Let me know what y'all think. Have a great rest of your day. Bye.